Hey, good morning, everybody. Monday morning. Dog's not here. Jim Sinicropi sitting in for Harold Weber on the Weber This Week show. And we got a great show today. Seneca Falls Chief of Police Stu Peenstra in studio with me. Day after the Super Bowl. I'm sure we'll talk about the Super Bowl, that great comeback by the New England Patriots. Or was it or did the Falcons blow it? I think it was a combination. But yeah, it's Monday morning. I'm sitting in for the dog. I guess I'll share the news that Harold shared on Facebook. He's working at Del Lago Casino out in Tyre. The buses come in. He gets on the bus and talks to everybody on the bus about, this is how you get your player's card. This is where this amenity is, and this is the things about the Finger Lakes region. So perfect. It's him talking. That's perfect for him, right? So next week, the Weber This Week show will be in the afternoon. We're looking at 3 p.m. is the new time for the Weber This Week show, but we'll announce that officially as we get closer. So show's not going away. I'm sitting in this week. And the dog's out there at Del Lago greeting buses full of people coming. And I told him, I said, don't sit there and talk to them for 15, 20 minutes. They want to get off the bus. They've been driving on that thing for an hour. They want to get into the casino. So, Chief of Police Stu Peenstra has been in the studio before and back this morning, and we certainly got a lot to talk about. Chief, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Jim.
So I guess let's talk about the Super Bowl first of all. We got all sorts of things to talk about this morning, from some more serious issues to some lighthearted things. But the Super Bowl, it looked like the Falcons were going to cruise, and next thing you know, Tom Brady wins his fifth. He's the greatest ever, and Belichick, it's just it's like the same old story with the Pats.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to cruise so much I went to bed. So I missed that. I woke up to the announcer saying the Patriots have just won the World Series or the Super Bowl in overtime. So I woke up in just enough time to shut the TV off and continue my sleep.
So it was it was a good football game. But do you think that the Patriots won it or the Falcons blew it?
From what I can tell, from looking into it a little bit this morning, they did not score again, right, Jim?
Since they got 28 early.
Yeah. So, Tom Brady is unbelievable. I said to my wife, just before I actually fell asleep, that if there's one guy that can do it, it's that man, and he is an unbelievable quarterback. I think he's the best quarterback by far in the NFL.
Yeah, and with the win last night, maybe of all time, and you can't, however you feel about him or the Patriots, a lot of Bills fans around here aren't big Patriots fans, and actually a lot of people across the country aren't Patriots fans because of all the allegations of cheating and Deflategate and all that stuff, and the fact that they just keep winning. Whenever you're a dynasty like that, you get a lot of enemies. But, I think you got to say he's the greatest ever, and I think Belichick has to be considered, if not the greatest coach, one of the greatest coaches ever. It was impressive because I had written him off, but I do think that the Falcons got to be kicking themselves. They could have just ran the ball a few more times. They didn't have a turnover all postseason until Matt Ryan was sacked and fumbled, and that kind of turned the tide. And and then even the coin toss in overtime going to the Patriots, they drive down, score a touchdown, and the Falcons don't even touch the ball. It was it was a collapse for sure by the Falcons, but
they were playing a great game. The parts, the 3/4 of the game that I saw, the Falcons were doing a great job of controlling that football game, and at some point in time they lost that. I don't know when, but I was getting my beauty sleep. So.
Well, right now on Monday morning, I'm kind of wishing that I went to bed earlier too, but yeah, that's it. No more football for a while. It's a sign that spring's coming.
I know. Football is so much fun to watch. I'm going to miss that. So I think everybody else is going to miss that as well. But we got some good basketball coming up. So March Madness is around the corner, and
Yep.
my son's got me into watching NBA. So we're big Cavaliers fans, and we go up every year to see them, and it's going to be exciting.
Well, let's talk about basketball, because Syracuse had a nice weekend too, and I always love when the Super Bowl's over because I love college basketball in Syracuse, and once the Super Bowl ends, all the coverage on ESPN and a lot of the national media starts to focus towards college basketball a little more. This year, it wasn't looking like I was going to be looking too forward to February and March as a Syracuse fan, but boy, they have turned it around in a big way with their two last wins. The latest coming Saturday against Virginia, where they had to come back again, from 12 down to against the best defensive team in the country. It's amazing, and I mean, I know you're a fan of Syracuse. What do you attribute the turnaround to?
I think their defense is pulling together tight. I think that it's been their defense that have been winning games for them, they're playing well. It doesn't hurt when their point guard has 2 points or something like that in a game. He played an unbelievable game for them that pushed them through that win. But even this last win that they had, I think it was their defense that pulled them through.
Yeah, and Boeheim says it too all the time. Our defense isn't good enough, but yeah. The guy, and they had so many new faces in the form of Andrew White and John Gillen and the freshmen like Tyus Battle and Torian Thompson. It's a tough system to learn, so I guess it takes a while. First, they got to buy in mentally. It looked at the beginning of the season like they just didn't care to learn to play that zone because they figured they would just score more. So you got to have the desire, but then you have to learn the technical aspects of it, and so it takes a while, and I'm hoping that finally it's kind of kicked in. And the other thing with the Syracuse team is that we said this way back at the beginning of the year was that they have so many different ways to hurt you offensively, so let's say Andrew White's struggling offensively, well, John Gillen will score, or Tyler Lydon, there's so many other guys as far as outside shooting goes that you just need one or two of them to be on, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, that's typical Syracuse right there. I mean, I thought their season was over when they got whomped on by St. John's, and they almost looked like they gave up. I'd never seen a Syracuse team act like that, and I really thought the season was over, and they've definitely picked themselves up and proven to be a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't believe early on what I was seeing because I just never seen a Syracuse team like that lose at home by such a wide margin and just give up.
They really gave up. It was difficult to watch.
That's what's hard to believe because you see that team, and you think, geez, they give up against St. John's. How can they pull it together and turn their whole season around? But they're doing it. I suppose it could be short-lived. They play Clemson this week on the road, and that becomes, they're all really become must-wins right now. I think you can afford a loss at Louisville or even at home to Louisville or one of the ranked teams they have less, but they can't afford any more of these bad losses, and they need to get some more road wins. So that Clemson game becomes just as important to me as the Virginia game was Saturday. And honestly, I could see them winning by 30 or losing by, hope not 30, but I could see them losing by 10 or 15 or winning by 10 or 15 down there at Clemson. So
yeah, I think their confidence is up now. They got that big road win, which is huge. So, I always root for them, win or lose. So
yeah. Well, certainly around these parts is nice when you have something to focus on in February and March, generally two of the worst weather months of the year. Not really the worst, but I don't mind the cold and snow November, December, even into January, but by February,
yeah,
and March, and sometimes April, and sometimes it snows on Mother's Day around here. But Super Bowl's over, Syracuse basketball back on track, spring's coming. But before we take our break here, let's start talking about a couple issues that are going on with the department in the town of Seneca Falls. First of all, there was a water main break.
Yeah,
so
Saturday. Yeah,
conserve water order, not a boil water order, and it should be worked out tonight.
That's right. It should be fixed by today. They had to wait for some parts to come in. So the good thing is nobody has to boil their water or anything like that.
Yeah.
The water's good to drink. Just some people might be experiencing some low pressure. So.
And that was a break in the treatment plant itself.
Yeah,
It wasn't like in a pipe underneath. Like we've had a lot of breaks around here lately, but this was in the water treatment plant, and we're actually pulling all our water from the town of Waterloo now.
Yeah, that connection that they put in, I don't know how many years ago, that's been worked out for both Waterloo and Seneca Falls at times. So that was a smart thing to do.
Sure, and it's we need water, especially Super Sunday, how the parties. So that is kind of nice. And I actually was talking to somebody from the water department, about that. And I guess it's kind of like you scratch your back, I scratch
That's right.
mine. It's not like we were getting a bill from Waterloo for this. It's
as far as I know, no, that's the way it is we're taking care of each other, which is the way it should be.
Yep, I agree. So when we come back, we're going to take a short break here from the sponsors. When we come back, we're going to talk about the news that the Seneca Meadows lawsuit that came down this weekend that we published on Finger Lakes 1, and we'll get the chief's reaction to that. We'll talk about Del Lago Casino is now open, and we'll talk about what the first kind of week's been like in terms of law enforcement. To me, it's been quieter than I thought. I kind of thought that there was going to be a lot more traffic. Other than opening day, you don't even know it's there. I guess that's a good thing. If you want to go out there, it's there. If you, if you want to go about your daily life here in Seneca Falls, you really don't notice much of a difference. So we'll talk about that. But first, let's step aside and hear from the great sponsors of Weber this week. Some of them the dogs had for 30 years. So here they go.
Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams and Wadhams Enterprises, your local employer of choice. Proud supporter of Weber This Week and local athletics. Fill out an application at wadhams.com. The Gould Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. Learn more at thegouldhotel.com. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. Del Lago Resort and Casino will feature a luxurious 205-room hotel, several restaurants ranging from casual to fine dining, and a 2,500-capacity entertainment venue called The Vine. The casino will have 2,000 slot machines, 75 table games, and 10 poker tables. Visit www.dellagoresort.com. Seneca Meadows is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. The Seneca Falls Country Club, awesome 18-hole layout, open to the public, and a 12-month payment plan for members. Check out SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at NewarkPilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Rich Rickey and Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week.
And welcome back inside the FingerLakes1.com studio, downtown Seneca Falls, Monday morning, February 6th, day after the Super Bowl. Jim Sinicropi sitting in for the dog. who's out at Del Lago right now working, not playing, but he's greeting people as they pull in on the buses. And we were talking off the air, Chief and I, and that is the perfect job for the dog, right?
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah,
get
that's
on
right in his line right there.
Well, that's probably why they gave it to him. He's good at it. He'll be good at it. And I told Chief too, and of course I love Harold, known him my whole life, and used to listen to him on the radio when I was younger, and now, we work together. But it's a perfect job for him because those people on the bus will only hear his jokes and stories once. Here on Monday mornings, I've heard them all, 30, 40, 50 times. So, it is good, and I know he's excited about it. So
we miss him here this morning, though.
It's not the same.
You're good, Jim, but
yeah, I'm not the dog. I'm not the dog. But he will be back. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to move the show to looks like 3:00 on Mondays, and yeah, so it'll be good. It'll be actually a little easier start to the week, for us than having to do the show right off the bat on Monday morning. So
that's why I had to fall asleep during the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
be
get up
prepared
early
for the show.
So, we talked before the break about some sports topics, but there was also some real news topics that the biggest story was that Seneca Meadows filed suit against the town of Seneca Falls on Local Law 3. Mm-hmm. And, it's one thing everybody thinks about is expense and lawyers and, how that's going to impact services. So is Chief of the Seneca Falls Police Department, what's your reaction to that, and what do you think the next move is for Seneca Falls?
Well, it's really too early to say. It's definitely a hot topic, and there was some things discussed about cutting services over the weekend. The one thing that I just want to stress is our services that we provide, not only with the police department, community center, water, street. Those services are what I think make Seneca Falls unique, and those are services, especially with a community center and police department, that most communities don't have. So when you have a police department that I consider to be a very good police department, a community center that is a top-notch community center with programs that other communities don't have, it's difficult to hear that there may be cuts in those services. So it's really still very early to tell exactly what is going to happen with that. So we just kind of continue to do our thing and work forward, and we'll see what this brings.
Now, the local law was enacted by a 4-1 vote of the board a few months ago, and now 2 of those board members that voted for it are off the board and replaced by 2 board members who supposedly wouldn't have voted for it. So the thought is that, or some of the talk I've heard yesterday was that, well, this is just Seneca Meadows put that out there, but once we repeal that law, they're going to pull back. I mean, does that make sense to you?
It's hard to say, Jim. Yeah. It really is. I mean, I don't know what the game plan is. I'm running the department as I have before. I have asked for a request to the board members over the weekend to meet with them to get my thumb on the pulse of what they are feeling. So I should know more after Tuesday night's board meeting. I've asked to go into executive session to discuss this with them. I have employees that are obviously worried, about this, and I'm trying to calm them and understand that this is the very beginning of anything, and that there should definitely not be any kind of knee-jerk reaction to this lawsuit, and it's very early on, and we'll see how this plays out.
And it's it's not the first time. It seems like any time, like with consolidation of the village and town, that was the last time the department kind of came under the gun, and mm-hmm. you had to defend yourself. And I've told folks that, as a father of 11-year-old daughter right now, I like seeing the police officers around. And also, as a guy who grew up here and went to school and knows most of your officers personally, I think they do a great job. And I think that 95% of the people of town agree with that the officers and personnel of Seneca Falls Police Department do a great job. And if you've ever been in a situation where you needed them, then you definitely feel that way. I can remember my grandmother having a stroke, and the first person on site was Seneca Falls Police Department.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's kind of perspective on how you feel about that. But yeah, it is. It's an ongoing issue. I think that that's unfortunate in the fact that you have people's livelihoods at stake, and it's just a lot of talk all the time. It seems anytime there's an issue, there's talk. So it is too early to tell, and it's the thing is when the local law was enacted, I think anybody that was on the inside of what's going on or talks to anybody and said this is what was expected to happen. We expected a suit to come down the road, and so to me it wasn't a surprise. It's just I guess what we're going to have to do next here in Seneca Falls. So
I think they changed, from what I can tell, they changed from Local Law 7 to Local Law 3 in anticipation to try to not have that happen. It didn't work out. So, I think the board really has to go back and meet and discuss what their next move is going to be. So it's, to revert back, though, to the police department, we go above and beyond. We are there for whatever anybody needs. And that's what, sets us apart from a state or county agency. They do a great job, but, they aren't there within seconds or minutes when something bad happens. Typically, depending on where they're at. But, that's a very reassuring thing in people's minds that when their grandparents or things like that, people like that are living home alone, that one quick phone call and we're there, whether they've fallen on the ground or, somebody's trying to break into their house. Mm-hmm. We will be there to protect them. And we're going to continue to do our job as we have before. And lawsuit or no lawsuit, we have a job to do, and public safety is utmost concern, and we're going to do it.
So the new casino opens. It's not in the town of Seneca Falls. It's in the town of Tyre, but is right next to the town of Seneca Falls.
Yeah.
And so have you seen any impact on the police force or any law enforcement issues or even traffic concerns since the casino's opened its doors last Wednesday?
No. Surprisingly, I expected traffic to be much heavier in town, but it hasn't. So,
which might not be a great thing because we were hoping, the local businesses and everything, hoping to get some spillover from that casino. It's a little too early to tell.
I still think they will. I think everybody's so focused on getting in the door over there and spending their time in the casino. I think as that starts to wear off, we'll see some more spillover in our community, which will be a good thing. I really think bringing people to this area, getting them to see the town of Seneca Falls and everything that we have to offer it will be a great thing for our area.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful building.
It is.
And it's not done yet. The hotel needs to be finished. The restaurant needs to open. I think the first concert, Bad Company, will be this Friday, the 10th. Be interesting to see, how things go traffic-wise and when there's a show in town. And maybe, if a show's coming, that's where you might see some people eat dinner in the surrounding areas and then go to the casino maybe. I don't know, it's just so new and different that I don't think that anybody really knows, exactly how it's going to play out.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. So we have they have two big concerts. They have Bad Company Friday and Flow Rider on Saturday. So yeah, I agree. That's going to bring not only the gamblers in, but the people that want to see the entertainment as well. And I'm excited about the entertainment. I'm not a gambler, but the entertainment, the acts that they're going to have, the comedy acts and things like that. I'm excited to go out and see some of that stuff.
It's really almost surreal to think of, some of these national acts that are coming. And granted, it's not Lady Gaga or Madonna or anything.
No.
But these are these are big names that we've known for a long time, and they're coming to Tire, New York. I think it's funny just to picture Flo Rida getting up there on the mic and saying, like, are you feeling me, Tire, New York?
Yeah, definitely. It's exciting. I was out there 2 weeks ago for a safety meeting and to talk about traffic issues and things like that, and to see what was going on out there 2 weeks ago, I would have never thought the doors were going to swing open.
Yeah, it is amazing.
There was people working everywhere. The place was a disaster. They're moving machines in and tables in, and people are still doing sheetrock. While I give them a lot of credit. They did it, and I was out there thinking, I don't know how they're going to do it.
Well, with some of the anything you open a facility that size and to the general public and you get flooded with customers, there's going to be some issues. So I heard a lot of positive feedback, but I also heard some negative feedback about some things, and it's just like, Jesus, give them some time. It's amazing that they got to this point. They're going to have to work out some kinks for sure. So they have security on site there, like from a public safety, law enforcement type of perspective. How do things get handled out there?
Yeah, they have their private security out there, and they have the Seneca County Sheriff's Department helping them out on the outside. But really on the inside, it's all private security that is being taken care of.
So if somebody gets arrested, or they need somebody to be arrested, or somebody goes way over the line, that the security needs to hand that over to somebody, where do they get prosecuted? In the town of Tire court?
Yeah.
And they might go to if they had to be incarcerated, or they would go to the county jail, or would they utilize
County Correctional Facility? Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Interesting to see, because when you talk about that many people coming out there as they've expected, it's inevitable there's going to be issues, and it's inevitable.
They have cameras everywhere out there, so
that's got to help. Yeah.
How somebody thinks they're going to get away with something out there is beyond me. I mean, but they have cameras everywhere. They have some state police stationed within the casino that are going to assist them on there. They have the Seneca County Sheriff's Department that's assisting them on the outside, and I think they have everything in order.
Yeah, they've had everything in order. I mean, it's like I said earlier, it's impressive the fact that they got from point A to point B, and it is what it is now. And they're still working out there. They need to get their hotel open, and it was crowded out there Wednesday for the grand opening. But I had to get on the thruway on Sunday at about 8:30 in the morning, and then I drove back through at about 11 o'clock. Got off the thruway, and it was normal. There wasn't any extra traffic, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. There was cars in the parking lot. I know that.
I think it was worse for our Women's March on the thruway than it was for the opening of the casino. But I think people plan for that, too. The Women's March we had was kind of unexpected,
Big
the amount
surprise,
of people that turned out for that. So.
What now? We're going a couple seconds over here at time, but you bring up that Women's March. Something like that happens. I know that originally they were thinking 500-600 people, and then it became 1,000, then 2,000. And were the organizers of that event keeping you abreast of?
They were great. They kept me posted. I had a point of contact person on that, and they kept me in the loop on everything. They didn't expect that many people to be there.
Even the final report they gave to you, I think, was probably they were thinking maybe they might get 4, 5, 6,000.
Yes,
and it ended up being over 10.
Yeah, there was I know one thing. I don't know how many people were there, but there was a lot.
It was tough to count.
There was a lot, and I've never seen anything, even with It's a Wonderful Life run.
Yeah.
I've never dealt with anything like that here in the town, so that was we had to adapt a little bit on that, and but I think overall we got a bunch of thank you letters on that, and a lot of things on our Facebook page thanking us for the job well done on that.
Did you have any issues at all?
No.
Yeah.
No. Everybody was very thankful, and were coming up to all of us and just saying thank you, and they they protested, but they were very kind to us.
Yeah, it was a peaceful protest if ever there was one.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're in charge of the safety of everybody in Seneca Falls, and all of a sudden the town population more than doubles, because all these people come in on a.
I was very nervous for a while. Let's put it that way. It's like controlled chaos there for a little bit. We had to move people to get the road shut down, which we weren't planning on shutting down until the March. Mm-hmm. But we just had to do it. We had to move some people around. Get
right
that
on
road
Fall
shut
Street?
Down. Yeah.
Now, so what was the issue there? Because that's 5 and 20.
That's a state route. Yeah.
It usually is a big procedure to go through to shut it down. Do you have the authority then to, when something like this happens, to say, look, we're shutting this down now, or you have to contact the state DOT or anything?
I hope so, because I did it. There was nothing we could do. There was that many people there, and it was interest of public safety, so we had to do it. There was people in the streets and crossing in front of traffic, and something bad was going to happen. I just could see that. So we had to adapt, and we had to shut it down. We had to get people in the proper places to divert traffic. I'm sure there wasn't people happy about that, but overall, I think it went as well as it possibly could have.
Well, I'll tell you, it has been a busy winter around here. With the Wonderful Run was one of the biggest ever, and the Wonderful Life Festival was huge, and then the Women's March and the casino opening. Yeah. It's just for winter around here, this has been a pretty active one. So
yeah, it's a Wonderful Life weekend. I just absolutely love that weekend. Everybody's in such a good mood. Everybody's so happy. I just love working that weekend and just being out and talking with people and seeing where they're coming from, and again, everybody's coming up and just saying thank you and thank you for your service. And at this time in the nation with law enforcement, we don't see it in like we do here in Seneca Falls in the nation. People really embrace us and really love their local police department, and that's reassuring and refreshing to have people come up and tell you those things.
Well, like you said, it's one of the things that makes Seneca Falls not necessarily totally unique, because there's other communities of our size with police departments, but it's
special.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
So, well, Chief, we did it. Weber's not here, but we still managed to talk. We actually went over the time. I get mad at him when he goes over the 30 minutes, and here I went over.
See, you got to police yourself.
That's right. Well, thanks for coming in, and thanks for everything
you thanks for having me.
And I'm sure it won't be the last time that you're up here. So
yeah, looking forward to coming back.
So Harold Weber will be back next Thursday with Tomas Gonzalez. He's owner of oh, geez, I should know the name of it. The Bella. It's a new restaurant in Geneva. Oh, boy. Well, he'll be here next week. Harold will be back. New start time, 3 o'clock. And so for Harold Weber and Chief Peenstra, Jim Sinicropi here saying have a great week.